former Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Moerane will be laid to rest today. He's been honored with a civic funeral. Moerane died in hospital last week after being seriously injured in a car accident. eNCA's Lindokuhle Xulu is following that story for us. He joins us live now. Lindo, thank you so much for your time, obviously, this morning as preparations get underway for the final resting place of Ntate Moerane. Can you just talk to us a little bit about just some of those proceeding developments? How has this been received, especially by the community of Alexandra, where he played a significant role, obviously coming from there?
Well, you would have seen the community of Alexandra just on Friday coming to one of the stadiums there in Alexandra to celebrate as well as to honor Ntate Mpho Moerane. You are right in saying that he was a very loved person within that community, and that is why we saw many of those people making their way to the stadium. Many of them did not go inside the hall, but they were outside and singing. They were in song and saying that the person that is being remembered on that day is a person that has helped a lot of people, a philanthropist in his community, as well as a person that they look up to in terms of his leadership skills. But all of the people that were inside were talking about the type of person who was always joking, a type of person who was a humble leader within the community, but also within the structures of the African National Congress. Today, we are outside his home in Bryanston, and this is where the family is expected to have an intimate service before they move to Kwapegilanga in Alexandra Township, and this is where the official, funeral proceedings will begin. It is going to be an official civic funeral. This is by the city of Johannesburg. They are saying that they do this for all councillors that have passed away, but more than anything, they said that Mpho Moerane would have been seen serving as the mayor for the city of Johannesburg, but on the on the backdrop, behind the scenes, you would have seen him also interacting as well as making sure that service delivery is something that is possible to the people. So some of the banners we've seen, including at the memorial service, were basically saying that he is a champion of service delivery. But what is also expected here, Faith, we've been told by Umama Faith Mazibugo, who is just here, the MEC for Community Safety. She told us that in a couple of minutes we are expecting the President Cyril Ramaphosa to actually be part of the intimate service that will be here at the family before they move to Alexandra, where the official funeral will kickstart. We also understand that the President is the one that will be delivering the eulogy of Ubaba Mpho Moerane. So those are some of the things we are expecting here, but above and beyond, Mpho Moerane, throughout the time since he was announced to have passed away until this time, several events have been held in his honor, and he's just been called a humble servant, a humble leader within the ranks of the ANC. And for the people of Johannesburg, they've labeled him as a champion for service delivery.
Yeah, I mean, Lindo, one could say that indeed the city of Johannesburg is in significant mourning. I mean, this is what, 3 now of former mayors that have passed on within a space of 10 months. That is not something to take lightly, and more than anything else, it is something perhaps we as the city of Johannesburg need to reflect on. It's never a good time. 2 of those mayors, former mayors, passed away as a result of car crashes. And then, of course, one such, the late Jeff Makuba, as a result of COVID-19 complications.
It is indeed a very scary statistics if you look at the fact that 3 of the previous mayors in the city of Johannesburg and 3 of the previous leaders within the ANC that had been chosen to take this role have indeed passed away. The first one was Ntate Jeff Makuba, who passed away because of COVID-19 complications. The one who succeeded him was Jolly D. Matongo, a jolly good fellow as they affectionately called him within the ranks of the ANC. He himself passed away due to a car crash there by Golden Highway. We responded to that, and many people were in tears saying that this is bad luck, but little did they know that in a matter of less than a year, they would also now be mourning the passing of Ntate Mpho Moerane. So quite a bad spell for the African National Congress. In fact, when we were at the memorial service, we were speaking about this, reflecting about this with the former Speaker of the city of Johannesburg, Umama Mulwelwe, and she did say that it is quite troubling for the ANC that is not necessarily enjoying the majority when it comes to government, because they have lost the city of Johannesburg through coalition government. But she is saying that some of the people they had hoped would be able to turn this around, would be able to take the ANC forward, it seems that they are passing away. But she does say that she's hoping that within the time they will be able to produce, as they have with these 3 leaders we are speaking about, they'll be able to actually produce the kind of leaders that will have the same caliber when it comes to leadership breeding, when it comes to selflessness that has been displayed by Ntate Mpho Moerane, before him Joliti Matongo, as well as Geoff Makubo. So they are hoping that the ANC will then in its ranks be able to produce the type of leaders. But today it is another sad time for the African National Congress, in fact for many opposition parties as well, because we saw that they were coming forward. They were also sending their message of condolences and just paying tributes to Ntate Mpho Moerane. So indeed it has been a bad spell for the ANC, and I'm sure they'll be hoping that it stops here.
Yeah, I mean, Lindo, with that said, I mean, obviously I would think that the residents of the city of Johannesburg are just hoping. I mean, we do have a mayor in the form of Mpho Moerane, but it's more around the stability around the city of Johannesburg and exactly how that is actually being interpreted by the residents having to see and witness these kinds of sad eventualities.
Well, you talk about the perspective of people, and Faith, I would like to ask you to just move out of the way to just be able to observe as well what is happening here. But you are seeing mourners trickling into the Moerane family. We just want to keep an eye out because we know that the president is also expected to actually come to the family home first before going to Wapegilanga in Alexandra, where the funeral will be. But I can tell you, when you speak about the residents of Johannesburg, they would tell you that they could care less about who is at the helm. One of the people you speak about is, of course, the current executive mayor for the city of Johannesburg, Mpho Moerane, who herself was able to actually come here, was able to offer the family that civic funeral that will be taking place. And she has also spoken about the fact that while she took over from Mpho Moerane after the local government elections, they have been working together. Mpho Moerane has been selfless in sharing some of the ideas he had when it comes to ensuring that they take the city forward. So certainly at the heart of everything is in fact service delivery issues that the city of Johannesburg residents want to actually take forward. So those are some of the things that Mpho Moerane, when paying tributes to Mpho Moerane, the former mayor, she in fact told us that she is at pains with the fact that he has departed. She had labeled him as a leader and as a good opposition leader when it comes to sharing of ideas, when it comes to having a dialogue about certain burning issues within the city of Johannesburg. And this is a loss that I said again, not just to the African National Congress, not just to the people of Johannesburg, but we are told also to opposition parties that would have been held accountable by Mpho Moerane when it comes to issues of service delivery. Hence, he's been labeled a champion for service delivery.
Lindokuhle Xulu is definitely not a story that is delightful at all to cover. It's quite a sad eventuality indeed, a sad happening at that. And as I said, condolences to the Moerane family for this significant loss. Of course, as the story develops, and we are expecting for funeral proceedings to begin at 9 a.m. this morning, we'll take you there live as eNCA. So don't go anywhere, stick around as we give you that live crossing a little bit later on.